Some flags represent entire nations, others represent your granddad's plumbing firm in Minnesota, or a country that exists solely in someone's garden shed and imagination, or a redesign of the Union Jack, controversial, but take your pick. This is the People's Flag Lair, a flag collection curated not by governments, historians or the UN, but by you, yes, you, with your obscure textile attachments and strong opinions about ratios. To celebrate Flags in Focus turning 5, I asked viewers to send me their weirdest, most personal flags, and oh boy, you did. We've got family flags, protest flags, redesigns that ignore centuries of history for a better shade of blue, 14th century pirate loot, and a flag stitched together from a recycled US flag and the vague hope of Puerto Rican statehood, bought at a garage sale, because of course we do. Some of these flags will move you, some will make you squint, one made me question my life choices, but we don't need to talk about that right now. This video has testimonies and videos made especially by the authors themselves, brought together beautifully in tapestry of prime colours and sound waves, basically so you don't have to listen to me for the full duration of this video. Let's begin. Some people inherit silverware, others inherit trauma, but a rare and lucky few inherit a flag. This is Flags of the Family, a celebration of banners made not for countries or clubs, but for households, handbags, balconies, and the occasional plumbing company. First up, a family flag from the Czech Republic. It's got heraldry, a reclining deer, and just enough personal symbolism to make your family reunion feel underdressed.
This family flag was designed by Krzysztof Huk, a Czech vexillologist, based on the assumed coat of arms of the Kalush family in 2025. The flag, like the coat of arms, refers to the family name. Kalush means fawn in Czech. The coat of arms are canting arms. The red and white chest border also refers to the silver-red checkered eagle of the coat of arms of Moravia, indicating the family's geographical origins.
This flag is basically Games of Thrones if House Stark ran a Czech deer sanctuary. Next, a pride flag from Minnesota, courtesy of a plumbing company, and no, that sentence isn't missing any words at all.
This May I moved to the beautiful state of Minnesota. I was able to attend the gay pride events in June. I kept seeing this flag in people's hands. When I walked around Loring Park, I had to have one. It's a beautiful example of how the new Minnesota flag is and will gain a unique iconic look. This plumbing company created a flag that celebrates the diversity of the queer community alongside its pride in the state of Minnesota. That is effective design. I'm looking forward to the future of city, county, and organization flags coming out of Minnesota. This little mini flag is home on my balcony, watching over my native plants' insect visitors.
Some fly a flag for the Queen, Luke flies a flag for the ladybirds, or ladybugs if you're in America, I guess. This one you'll recognise, but the story behind it is exactly why we're doing this episode.
While this flag, the transgender flag, is probably well known, it is probably less well known why I pin it on my handbag. Not just of being transgender myself. That being a human spirit, common to transgender and cisgender people alike, community, where people don't get pushed into boxes and their lives summed up in a word on a form or a physical attribute, but allowed to grow and thrive and be first and foremost as people.
Some flags are statements, others are quiet reminders to see the person first. Now to a flag designed by someone who thinks about flags way too much. Andy from Flag for Content will talk you through, well, his own family flag.
What's up, Vexheads? It's Andy from Flag for Content here to tell you all about my family flag. Let's go ahead and get into the elements. To start with, we combined a St. Andrew's cross, for me, Andrew, with this vertical bar that dissects the cross, making a forwards and backwards K, my wife Katie's initials. Where they meet, we have this white hexagon. This is actually a 20-sided die, a D20 as they call it, which represents our love for playing D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. The element is offset mostly as a design choice since you know I love Scandinavian crosses. The white color of the D20 is driving the darkness out toward the edges of the flag, while the yellow represents the, quote, honey sweetness of our love, Frederick's words, but also uses the hex code FFC42A, FFC, flagged for content, 42, the answer to life, the universe, and everything, according to Douglas Adams's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series, and then A for Andy. This was mostly a happy coincidence. And there you have it in the briefest amount of time I could explain it. And as you can see behind me here, we also used a copy of it for our wedding guest book because flags can tell whatever story you want them to. Thanks for coming to my Vex Talk.
I think this flag can be summed up by the great John Hannibal Smith himself.
I love it when a plan comes together.
So from fawns to faucets to flags on handbags, we've seen just how personal a piece of fabric can get. Coming up next, redesigns, remixes and unsolicited improvements. Yes, it's time for... Some people redesign flags to unite a country, others redesign them because they hate gradients, and then there are these, designs born from inspiration, rebellion or a mild obsession with Kazakhstan. Welcome to Redesign Therapy, where no flag is safe and every alternative version comes with an opinion. Let's redesign the Union Jack because that obviously never causes arguments.
Redesign for the Union Jack of the UK. Design in 3 panels of fabric, in the same proportion of the current flag of 31 panels. The angles set it aside from France and the Netherlands. Quite dynamic with how the angles thin the white area into the fly.
I just think that this would be a change too far. However, take a look at the UK's Flag Institute logo. Well, now you can see the similarities here. And if you want to find out more about the Institute, check the description below. You don't have to live in the UK to be a member. We're all flag nerds at the end of the day. From a garage sale in the Philippines, a protest, a proposal, and possibly a repurposed bedsheet, it's the Puerto Rican redesign.
Hello, greetings from the Philippines and the micronation of the Kingdom of Barlesca. This flag was given to me after my stepfather bought it from a neighborhood garage sale. By the looks of it, this flag is a somewhat protest or redesigned flag, including the flag of Puerto Rico. The flag was recycled, as mentioned by the seller, and then a Puerto Rican flag with 50 stars on it was sewn on the old American flag. We don't really have a backstory for this flag since its origins are vague, but this flag was a proposal for Puerto Rico to become the 51st state of the USA. I can say this is one of the weirdest flags I own, and the most unique out of my collection of national and state flags.
It's not a statehood proposal, it's a fabric-based opinion, and to me simply looks like it's just gone way over the top for anyone's liking. Over to Canada, where the town of Westville got a proposal, whether it asked for it or not.
This is the canary in the blue sky, my proposed flag for Westville, Nova Scotia in Canada. This aspirational former mining town has never had a flag. Westville was named for being west of Stellarton, and this design reads westerly. The black field to the fly pays homage to the coal mining and sometimes tragic past that Westville proudly honors. 3 white stripes represent shafts for the town's former 3 mines, rendered like a W for Westville. Between them, the field transitions to Acadian blue that references Westville's original name of Acadian village and its current peaceful and hopeful identity. The rest is Acadian blue with a canary in Nova Scotian gold for the town and its people, freely flying westward in the sky from a past in the coal mines.
The mining town with a budgie, of course, goes hand in hand. Next stop, Nelson, New Zealand. The redesign, bold, bright and blissfully anchor-free.
The flag that I'm going to talk about now is the flag of Nelson, New Zealand, or at least it's my redesign of the flag of Nelson, New Zealand. A couple of years ago, Dave and Tracy had a contest where we could redesign a flag, and I submitted this one, and it actually came in second, so I was pretty happy with that. If you look at the current flag of Nelson, it's actually pretty ugly and I think a little creepy. It looks like it's got a papal hat on top, which sort of reminds me of a squid on crack. So I went in a completely different direction and I redesigned it using just various shades of green and blue. The blue represents the Tasman Bay on which Nelson is located, and the green represents what I consider to be the most glorious hop of all hops, which is Nelson Sauvin, which, as the name implies, it's grown in Nelson, New Zealand. The octopus represents the abundance of fauna in Nelson's waters, specifically the New Zealand octopus. And the octopus is centered on the flag, which is indicative of Nelson's place at the geographic center of New Zealand. That, in a nutshell, is my redesigned flag of Nelson. And in honor of Nelson, both the flag and the hop, I'm going to have a beer with some Nelson Sauvin in it, and go Cyclones, who are about to kick off against Kansas State and Ireland. Cheers.
Cheers, Joey. From squid on crack to octopus, it's a bold statement, to be fair. Before he designed flags for other people, Christoph Huck designed this one, his early masterpiece, with leaves.
When I was just starting out as a budding vexie, around 2014 to 2015, I took part in a contest for a new Czech flag, organized by a group called vlastnci.cz. Back then, events like this were rare in the country, so I was thrilled when my design won second place. It was the first real success I'd ever had with my flag designs, and I was so excited that I even had the flag sewn by a German flag maker. Looking at it now, I know it's not the strongest design, but it still holds a special place in my heart. My submission was titled Lady List, Golden Leaf. It was based on the traditional Bohemian byband, with the addition of a stripe of golden leaves. At the time I was a bit obsessed with Kazakhstan's flag, so the idea of a decorative pattern along the hoist really stuck with me. The leaves themselves were linden leaves, since the linden is the Czech national tree. In hindsight, I probably should have chosen a number of leaves that carried some symbolic meaning, but live and learn.
Bohemia, but make it leafy. I think it works, to be fair. This next one was stolen during medieval piracy and later destroyed in World War II, and you thought your flag had a backstory.
Here is a flag which should be ideal for your people's flag Lair. I bought it specifically to annoy all those who think flags should be simple. It also works for anyone who thinks flag ratio should only be 3:5 like Amazon decrees or even gasp 1:2. This is a copy of the Skips Flagget from Maria Kirken I Lubeck flag, which was taken as a prize during a medieval sea fight. I think more outright piracy than an actual battle. The flag was Danish and was carried home by the victorious German crew and kept in their home church for many centuries. It was then painted in full color for a book by some historians during the 1890s, which was very fortunate as American bombing raids flattened the small church in 1944 and everything inside was burned completely.
Oh, that's it? That's the end, is it? It's rather dramatic. Anyway, if your flag was looted and firebombed, you're allowed a bit of drama. That said, this is more like the Bayeux tapestry in the wind, if you ask me, which obviously you haven't. So far, we've had family flags, protest flags, and the occasional medieval theft. But what about flags from the tiniest places, or to be fair, no place at all? Welcome to. There are countries without flags, and then there are clubs, villages, YouTube channels that absolutely do not need flags, but made them anyway. This is Tiny Flags, Big Vibes, a showcase of flags small in scale, big in energy, and deeply unnecessary in the best way, of course. Now to Seattle, where public transport, typography, and a love of hidden letters collide in one local club's flag.
This is the flag created for the Seattle Association of Vexillology. Seattle's also hosting Nova 59 this year. SAV's colors are inspired by Sound Transit, with the teal representing the city as an isthmus. The blue on either side represents Puget Sound and Lake Washington. Hidden in the flag are AV for Vexillology and A for Association, and S for Seattle when hung horizontally.
I love a flag that comes with homework hidden in plain sight. A flag from a Czech village with fewer people than a school trip, which makes this design even more impressive, to be fair.
The flag of Jikovec, Czech Republic. While I have never been to the Czech Republic or anywhere in Europe, I know about this flag thanks to a subnational flag-off hosted by Flag Session. I've become very fond of this particular flag, and I also find it kind of funny that a village with only about 100 residents would even have its own flag.
No school, no pub, no station, but that flag, Eurovision ready. Nuclear symbols, Soviet heritage, what can possibly go wrong, and a flag that knows how to overachieve.
This is the flag for a town called Zheleznogorsk, and it's literally a bear splitting an atom in half. And the reason the flag works is because that town was built for plutonium production facilities, hence the atom being split in half. Really cool flag overall.
You can't argue with a bear ripping open an atom, really. One flag to unite us all, or at least look good if aliens drop by.
Hi everyone, my name is Oscar Pernefeld. I am from Sweden, and I want to talk about the international flag of planet Earth, which is a flag that I designed back in 2015, which is meant to represent the planet as a whole. Why, you might ask? Well, there's two answers to that question. One is very logical, coming from a flag system perspective. We all know that cities, they have flags, and those cities are located in states and they have flags. And those states, in some cases, form a country, which of course has a national flag. And I am suggesting that we should have flags on a planetary level as well. And even if you go one step above that, when in a few decades, when Mars has its own flag, perhaps we have a flag for the alliance between the two planets. Who knows? But the reason why this flag means a lot to me personally is that we live in a time of climate crisis. And for a lot of people, this flag represents what they are trying to save. We also live in a time of conflicts and famines, and a need for global solidarity is at an all-time high. So to a lot of people, this is a reminder that we all play on the same team and that we share all of the planet's challenges, but also its possibilities. That's why I want to talk to you about the international flag of planet Earth.
This is one of my personal favourites, so much so that I have it here in the flag lair. Next one sounds like a dinosaur. One of the most significant flags on the list, older than many nations and far more unified.
An obscure flag outside of New York State, but here in Syracuse, New York, we see it often. The flag of the Haudenosaunee, a confederacy of 6 indigenous nations here in New York State. They're the original stewards and owners of this land, and they still are. Previously known by the French colonial term the Iroquois, it's an outsider term, it's not great. Purple is such a unique color for a flag in general, so this flag really stands out. The design is a reproduction of the historically and culturally significant Hiawatha belt, which is a handmade and beaded belt that represents the unification of 5 of those 6 indigenous nations. The wampum beads that were used for the belt are naturally purple and white, hence the colors of the flag being purple and white. There are 5 elements on this flag, 4 white squares, 1 white tree. Each element represents a nation of the Confederacy, and very specifically, from left to right, the Seneca Nation, Cayuga Nation, Onondaga Nation as the tree in the center, Oneida Nation, and the Mohawk Nation. The symbolism is very specific in this way because this design also represents the locations of these nations from east to west in New York State. This design represents a traditional longhouse where the Seneca Nation furthest to the west are keepers of the western door of the longhouse, and the Mohawk Nation furthest to the east are keepers of the eastern door of the longhouse. The Cayuga and the Oneida Nations take on supporting roles in the middle rooms of the longhouse, and in the center, as the keepers of the central fire, the capital of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, if you will, the nation that keeps the fires burning for the entire Confederacy, they're represented here by the white pine of peace. There sits the Onondaga Nation, which is right here in Onondaga County, where Syracuse was built, on stolen land. And while this flag is obscure to many people outside of New York State, it makes sense that we would be seeing this flag often here. So for me, this flag has everything. It's got simplicity, originality, it's got a wonderful color that ties back to the people it represents, it's culturally significant symbolism, it's a full course history lesson, and a 3-foot by 5-foot flag. And that is why the flag of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy is my favorite flag.
Thanks, Eric. Personally, there's simply not enough purple flags on this planet, so I love this one. Say what you want about this next flag. Actually, don't. It will probably take far too long. And we've got these two to talk about it for us.
Hey Flag family, I'm Dave, this is Trace and we're Flag Session. Now what's going on behind us, Trace?
Behind us we have the beautiful flag of Turkmenistan. There it is. It has the 5 beautiful carpet goals which represent the 5 main tribes in Turkmenistan, and it's special to us because it captured our hearts in the Great Continental Flag Off. That's right.
That's right, we put together a wonderful competition where we were trying to find the world's best flag. And it turns out a lot of people like this flag because a lot of people would say it's a Marmite flag. What's a Marmite flag, Trace?
You either love it or you hate it. We love it, and turns out a lot of our friends love it too.
That's right, all around the world people voted for this flag, and you know, it's forever known as Carpetstan to us and many others. So that's fun for you guys, it's one of our favourites, and that's us over and out.
It's always great to see Dave and Tracy next to a flag, even if they call it a carpet. And finally, the flag that proves rectangles are optional, Nepal, iconic, pointy, unfoldable.
The flag of Nepal is so special because it's the world's only flag to be a double pennant shape. When we go back and look at many Asian flags, they were traditionally triangular shapes before they were colonised by the Europeans. And that's the point, Nepal was never colonised, so it stayed this beautiful shape. Here we can see this is one of the first flags or banners we have on record for China, the Qing dynasty, and it is in a triangular shape. I've actually got it behind me here, and Mac, if you're watching this, hopefully not, but thank you very much for the flag which you brought all the way back from Nepal, which is so cool.
Who doesn't love the uniqueness of the pointy Nepal flag? It's brilliant. So there you have it, from plumbing to piracy, protest to planetary designs. You sent me some of the weirdest, most heartfelt and gloriously niche flags I've ever seen. People's Flag Lair was created as part of the Flags in Focus 5th birthday. If you've got a flag with a story, real or imaginary, you know where to send it. Just let us know in the comments below. I've spent 5 years exploring flags on YouTube, and I've found some truly bizarre ones along the way. If you're curious, this video here will outline some of those that I've found. Be seeing you